Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer and empower you to master the CHAS ward assessment tool at Kampong Chhnang Provincial Hospital. Whether you're a seasoned clinical assessor or maybe stepping into this quality assurance role for the very first time, we're going to make sure you have complete confidence. We're breaking down exactly how this digital tool works, what you should be looking for out on the wards, and how your evaluations directly impact real patient care.
Here's our game plan for today. The purpose of the assessment, foundation versus comprehensive phases, navigating the digital tool, how to score the wards, real-world assessment criteria, and finally, generating actionable reports. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the purpose of assessment. We really need to get our mindset right before we even think about logging into the system.
Quality healthcare doesn't just happen by magic, right? It takes real, deliberate systems. So we've got to ask ourselves, how do we actually measure a hospital's true quality objectively? We can't just go off gut feelings or assume everything's running smoothly. We need a standardized, reliable way to capture what's really happening on the ground.
And that brings us to the CHAS Ward Compliance Assessment. Think of it not as a test to punish staff, because it absolutely isn't, but as a diagnostic tool. It's like taking the hospital's vital signs to check its overall health. Our goal is twofold: spot the gaps so we can fix them, and, just as importantly, give a massive shout out to the high-performing teams who are nailing it every single day.
Moving right along to Section 2, foundation versus comprehensive phases. What you're assessing actually depends entirely on which phase the hospital is currently in.
What I really love about this rollout is that the hospital doesn't just drop a massive checklist on you on day one. They scale it up reasonably. We kick things off with Phase 1, the foundation phase. This is super manageable. Just 20 criteria across 7 standards, focusing heavily on things you can actually see with your own eyes, like hand hygiene or checking if a cabinet is locked. Then, once everyone is totally comfortable with the rhythm, we upgrade to Phase 2. That's the comprehensive phase, which bumps up to 47 criteria across 13 standards, getting into the deeper nitty-gritty of clinical indicators.
All right, Section 3, navigating the digital tool. Now let's talk about the exact workflow you'll experience when you pull out your phone or tablet on the ward.
The app is designed to make your life easier, not harder. You've got 4 simple steps. Open Chrome, and seriously, stick to Chrome so everything saves properly. Log in, select your phase, pick your ward, and start scoring. Oh, and a quick heads up, picking the right phase right at step 2 is absolutely crucial. If you switch phases halfway through, it literally resets all your scores. You'll always know you're in the right place by the color at the top of your screen. Blue is Phase 1, green is Phase 2.
Quick pro tip here: if you hit a digital roadblock and see a No Standards Assigned message, take a breath. You didn't break the app. It just means the admin needs to jump into the back end and link your specific name to that specific ward. Just shoot them a message and they'll sort it out in seconds.
Section 4, how to score wards. Now we get to the core of your job, actually grading the clinical standards. Understanding your 3 colored buttons is key. The rubric is brilliantly simple. 0, that means the requirement is totally absent, no evidence at all. A 1 is your middle ground for partial compliance. Like, maybe there's a policy, but people are only kind of following it. And a 2, that means you've found rock-solid, undeniable evidence that they are fully compliant.
But here's the thing, tapping a number isn't the whole story. You've got to anchor those scores in human reality by typing specific observations. For example, writing down 2 of 5 files checked had no consent form. Now that is brilliant documentation. It's specific, it's objective, and it tells the ward head exactly what needs fixing. Once you're done, the system works its magic. It takes all those 0s, 1s, and 2s and automatically spits out a final percentage and a letter grade. It's a real game changer because you instantly see if a ward needs urgent help, like a D falling below 60%, or if they're knocking it out of the park with an A. Just remember, unscored criteria are completely left out of the math, so you have to grade every single assigned item to get an accurate score.
Let's move to Section 5, real-world assessment criteria. Let's step away from the screen for a second and talk about what you're actually hunting for out there.
Imagine you're walking the floor. You're checking if an oxygen tank is properly chained up. You're sneaking a peek to make sure a narcotic cabinet is actually double locked. Or you're flipping through patient charts to make sure consent forms were signed before an invasive procedure. From patient rights to infection control, medication, facility safety, and records, you are literally the eyes and ears of quality control.
Let's look at a highly specific example. Under infection prevention, you aren't just popping your head into a room to see if there's a bottle of soap.
To give a passing score, you need to actively watch and confirm that staff hand hygiene compliance is hitting at least 75% based on the WHO 5 moments. You've really got to observe those human interactions to validate that number.
Here's another one. Say you're checking an emergency crash card. It only gets a perfect 2 if 2 distinct things are true. First, it's fully stocked. Second, the daily check log proves it's actually being monitored continuously. If the card is full but that log hasn't been signed in 3 days, that's partial compliance, so it only gets a 1.
Finally, Section 6, Generating Actionable Reports. What happens after you've observed, scored, and typed up your notes? This is where the payoff happens. The app transforms all your tapping into a gorgeous, standardized PDF report. And what's super cool is that it automatically isolates and highlights all your partial and non-compliant findings. It essentially hands the ward a custom, targeted improvement plan right on the spot. Plus, it has all the official signature lines ready for the hospital leadership to sign off.
Grabbing that document is super easy. Just head to the Records tab and hit Print/Save PDF. But, and this is a big but, remember what we said earlier. Unscored criteria don't count towards the math. So always double-check that your progress bar at the bottom is 100% full before you hit save, or your final report is going to be totally incomplete.
All right, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. The app, the grading scales, the PDFs, at the end of the day, it's all just software. The real magic, it's you. Your honest, diligent observations on the ward are what will actually elevate patient safety across the whole hospital. Every time you spot a gap today, you are literally preventing a clinical error tomorrow. So what impact will your assessment make this week? Thanks so much for diving into this with me, and good luck out there on the wards.